Hey guys, this is Frank from Altcoin Buzz, and today we're going to be looking at one coin which I personally think is undervalued. It has seen quite a big dump in the last 7 days and also in the last couple of days more specifically. I'm going to show you why it has likely dumped and why I think it is undervalued right now. Now, we can't really talk about Nexo without talking about how it could potentially be behind the Zeus Capital and Chainlink short. First of all, I think it's ridiculous to think that the whole of Nexo colluded together to create this report to short Chainlink. If anything, maybe one or two people were involved from Nexo, maybe past employees, maybe even current, but there's no way that the whole Nexo team decided to short Link. One reason being is, of course, that they partnered with Chainlink and they listed them on their platform. And this took several months of diligent work and research, and it just wouldn't make sense for them to do that and then create this report and short it. So basically the issue here was that they used the same type form, and this was found on the Zeus Capital website, so they have the same one on the Nexo.io website, and it created this huge outburst on Twitter with Twitter users essentially saying that Nexo is to blame for this. I went to Reddit and I found this post to be quite helpful. So this guy is just asking about what Nexo have to say about this, and in here you have Nexo responding to this, and here they admit straight up that Nexo is a huge fan of Chainlink and Link and all that Sergey, who's from Chainlink, is doing for the blockchain space. So it just doesn't make sense that they would create this report to create FUD, but then also say that they're a huge fan of Chainlink. And of course, it speaks for itself. Our teams communicate with Sergey on a regular basis, and they worked for months to research and add Link as an asset on the Nexo platform for both borrow and earn. So it just doesn't make any sense that they would all collude together to be behind this. Now, if there was one person on the Nexo team who somehow created this FUD, all right, there is a higher probability of that. But to suggest that the whole of Nexo worked together to create this FUD, I think personally is a little bit over the top. But feel free to comment down below on what you think about all of this. And this chart by itself looks pretty decent. It's not a very clear uptrend, but we do nonetheless have a low back here in July 2018 of $0.013. And we've only seen higher lows ever since then. You can see consistently higher lows. And although the higher highs have kind of come down a little bit, here in mid-2019 we had sort of a long stretch without any real solid bullish price action. We have generally seen higher highs and been testing and surpassing previous highs. Okay, but the real interesting thing about Nexo, and the reason why I personally bought some yesterday, and I think I might even buy some more today, is this. So have a look at the price right now. In this past week, which started on August 3rd, the price has made almost a 30% dump. So that's a bit scary, right? But have a look at this. So the reason for this, almost certainly if you ask me, is because of Nexo distributing $6.128 million in dividends on August 15th, 2020. So you see, if you hold Nexo tokens, you actually get a percentage of profits from the company. The company gives out 30% of their profits in dividends, just like you would with a normal stock. So if you're holding Nexo on the exchange, you get these dividends relative to the number of tokens that you own. So what this means is that anyone who's interested in selling Nexo would likely wait until this event, because if they sell before this, they won't be able to take advantage of these dividend payouts. So it's natural that we have a sell-off. Now, it's important to note that this sell-off actually came on the 5th of August, which marks the ex-dividend and record date. So what this means is that Nexo took a snapshot of the Nexo tokens which you had on August 5th, and thereafter they will distribute these dividends on August 15th. So in other words, as long as you have the tokens by August 5th, you're all right. And that's why people sold exactly after this snapshot was taken. But what's really interesting is this. First of all, Nexo has demonstrated a 154% growth as compared with the second dividend, which was back in August 15th, 2019. So clearly, their business is growing, and that's always a good sign if you're looking to invest. But what's even more interesting is this. The second dividend was just 2.4 million, but that was in August 15th, 2019. What happened then? August 15th, 2019. Bam, this is where it was. This candle started on August 12th, 2019. This was the weekly candle. And you can see that this pretty much marked the exact bottom. A couple weeks later, we marked the exact bottom and we had a massive 282% pump. Now, what convinces me even more that this was a catalyst for the bottom of Nexo is this. On December 15th, 2018 was the very first of these dividend payouts. So on August 15th, they will pay out the third dividend, but this was the very first one, December 15th, 2018. Now, let's look at where the price was then. So in December 15th, 2018, the price closed at $0.083. Now, admittedly, we did see a 40% dump from there, so not ideal. But in the bigger picture, look at this. Even from this level to the next high, which was just 24 weeks later, we saw a 70% pump. And you can see that the general trend has been up ever since then. Look, we have these higher lows. I'll draw this line to make it even clearer for you guys. We have these steadily increasing higher lows over here. And then we have higher highs up here as well. Okay, they're not really much higher than the previous highs, but nonetheless, you can see that the trend is generally moving up. And just to make these dividend payouts even clearer, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little arrow over here to mark the dividend payouts. That was the first one. The second one was on August 2019. Let's put that in mid-August here. And now the third one, of course, is right now. Now, when it comes to Nexo, I actually use it personally. I've deposited some funds there, and we made a review for them on July 1st. You can check this out if you want. It shows how you can earn interest by staking your crypto there, which, as I say, I personally do. You can also take cryptocurrency loans on it. I haven't done so personally, but they have really great rates, and I might consider doing so at some point in the future. But yeah, they also have 0 transfer fees, which is pretty cool. I transferred some crypto from BINANCE. I had to pay a $2.3 fee, but when I transferred it out of Nexo, 0 fees. So that was pretty cool. But anyway, back to Nexo. So as you can see, we have a uptrend, not a very strong uptrend, but an uptrend nonetheless. We have a coin which has seen growth in its business. Otherwise, they wouldn't be offering higher dividend payouts. So 155% growth approximately compared to the last payout. And then, of course, we have Bitcoin, which has just entered a new bull market on the weekly time frame. So it's quite possible that people will be buying Bitcoin and then depositing it onto Nexo to earn the interests and just really not cashing out, to be honest. So this, of course, is good for the Nexo business. So, of course, I'm not saying that we're going to correct from this exact level, but if we see another move down, I'm going to buy some more. As I said, I already bought a little bit right now. One of the reasons I bought is that if you hold Nexo on the platform, you actually get higher interest rates on your crypto or on your stable coins. You get really solid interest rates on your stable coins. So as you can see here, up to 10% interest on your stable coins, but you only get 8% if you're not holding Nexo. So if you're holding Nexo and it represents 10% of all your holdings on the platform, then instead of getting 8%, you get 10% interest on your stable coins. On Bitcoin, the rate is a little bit lower, but still pretty decent. Yeah, so on Bitcoin, the rate is actually 5%, so it's quite a lot less than the stable coins. But just as proof that I do own Nexo, you can see I made a purchase here just recently. Not a very large amount, but you know, it's an altcoin. I have most of my holdings in Bitcoin right now. I have some Binance, I have a bit of XDAI stake. I've got a bit of sharing and a couple of others. But Nexo is one which I've added to just recently, because this dump just didn't seem justified based on the strength of this coin, the fact that we're in a bull market, based on the fact that I can use Nexo when I deposit my crypto onto the account. I actually had more Tether over here before and even some Bitcoin, but I transferred those out back to the exchange so that I could use those for leverage trading Bitcoin. As I mentioned in one of my previous videos, I was leverage buying Bitcoin and in quite a large position at the $11,250 level. But I don't personally recommend that for amateur or even intermediate traders, to be honest, because it is quite stressful and you have to be very careful with your bankroll management. But if you are interested, then of course you can check out our link in the description down below. I personally use Binance, very solid exchange, very easy to use. But anyway, back to Nexo now. So let's just do a quick analysis on this. Of course, Nexo doesn't have a lot of volume, so I'm a little bit hesitant to do a TA on this, but just generally speaking, if we get down to this box over here, between the 0.5 and 0.618, I would be very tempted to buy. I'm not sure if we will get down to here. That's why I've already bought some now. But if we do get down to here, I will most certainly be buying a fair bit more. And yeah, pretty much just hodling this one long term. Let's have a look at Nexo BTC now, actually, because it's always good to compare these altcoins to Bitcoin, because if you're not outperforming Bitcoin, there is no point in buying altcoins. And you can see here we have data back to March 2019. Nexo actually has data back to May 2018, but I could not find that in the charts. Huobi Global, of course, has the most volume, which is the chart which I'm looking at right now. And Hotbit does not display on TradingView. By the way, if you're on TradingView and you just type in coins like this, you get to see which coins are there. You don't even need to use any command. Just type in the coin. All right, so Nexo, you can see we have HitBTC and Huobi here, and HitBTC goes back to, okay, HitBTC does go back to 2018. So this chart, of course, does not look as good as the Nexo USDT chart. Why? Well, because we saw steady lower highs over here, and of course, because from the opening candle over here, we are currently 53% below in terms of Bitcoin value. That being said, things are starting to look up now. I will demonstrate this by showing you this triangle over here. Well, it's not a very clear triangle, but this gives you a general idea of the direction the price is going. So as you can see over here, on this weekly chart of Nexo BTC, we had a high in October 2019, a low at the end of October 2019, then we had another high in January 2020, a higher low, higher high. Here, this was a bit dodgy. We did actually make a lower low over here compared to January 2020, but then we picked up quite nicely, broke the previous high, and now we've corrected a lot. So if you look at it in terms of this triangle, we're closer to the bottom of this triangle than we are to the top, right? We're actually quite a lot closer. So for the sake of argument, if you were to long here, your target would be potentially somewhere at the top of this triangle. Let's just say the previous high here at 38,000 sats, and your risk would be just about here below 9,600 sats or so. And as you can see, this would offer a pretty attractive risk to reward of 3.6 to 1. I'm not going to do a detailed TA on Nexo, partly because it's a smaller coin and doesn't have much volume, and partly because we've already covered other coins in this video. But I just wanted to point out to you that the fundamentals look pretty solid, that I've personally bought some, and that, of course, this dividend payout has historically led to lows, as is demonstrated by the Nexo USDT chart. So let's just see where this takes us. I mean, if we go to the previous lows, you can see that we did have a few weeks where we saw a lower low compared to this low of the dividend payout. So it's quite possible that we come down for another low down here. If I were you, I would have your alerts set for anywhere, to be honest, within this region, anywhere from the previous low at 0.17 BTC all the way down to 0.137 BTC. But as I said, it's hard to predict exactly where this will come or if it will come down, and I have personally bought some right now. Alright guys, that's been it from me for this video. I hope you learned something, and don't forget to comment down below. I always like to read the comments and I respond a lot to them. And with that being said, I will see you in the next one.